Hey friends, and happy Saturday. It is literally 1:15 in the morning. So, um, my intention with my last update in last week's video, it was like 2 p.m. and I was going to do all the things and, finish at like a decent time. And yeah, I ended up finishing the Romeo and Juliet stitching. So all of my book covers are done, which is absolutely fantastic. I finished all of my hearts. So all of the hearts are done, which is fantastic. And then I cut out the customer quilt. And so I took like a long hiatus. Like I did the embroidery and then I like didn't do anything, and I didn't get in here to finish the hearts until like 8:30, almost 9 o'clock. And anyways, so for the last like 2.5 hours, I've cut out the customer quilt, and then I just couldn't stop, and I've gotten it to where it's chained. So this is the top row, the middle row, and then the bottom row. So I am stopping for the night. I am very tired. It's now 1:20. I am very tired. So I'm going to sleep in a tiny bit. Embroidery Bee starts around 10. So I'm going to sleep in a little bit, and then I'm going to go to Embroidery Bee. I'm going to enjoy my time. I'm going to come home. I'm going to go for a walk. If I end up still like waking up early, I might even go for like a morning walk. I don't know. It also depends on the weather. If anything, I'll walk in the house. But tomorrow after Embroidery Bee, I'm going to sew the rows together and then add the borders, and then his quilt will be done. So his quilt, I think I mentioned this in the last video and also in the one where I brought home the fabrics, but it's the Simply Swoon pattern, which is by Thimble Blossoms. It is super quick to cut out. It is super quick to put together. It came together beautifully. The fabrics that we picked out together, I think they work so well together. Anyways, this is going to be stunning, like gorgeous, stunning. But yeah, he wants to put it on the wall. And so he originally like wanted to do a throw, but then we decided to do the baby quilt. So it was more of like a wall hanging size. So anyways, I am in love with these fabric selections. I think they look fantastic. I genuinely just cannot say enough. What, Daniel? Daniel. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, good boy. So in the last couple of days, like in the last week, Daniel has decided that he goes all over the house finding toys, and he cries like that as he is bringing it to me. My dad, he had a lot of toys at my dad's. He never played with them at all. And here he plays with toys and like fetches them. Like he like, like whenever cats like kill mice and they like bring them to you and present them to you, like, look what I did for you. Aren't I a good boy? So he's doing that now with toys. Anywho, he is absolutely fine. He's right next to me purring. I don't know if you can hear him purring or not, but I know you could hear him screaming, "Do not bite. No biting." So anyways, that's the plan for tomorrow. And then I probably will because I'll be able to take like a little bit of a break. The only thing that I could see myself maybe like starting or like picking up tomorrow is like getting a little head start on next week's for the hearts, but I might do that on Monday afternoon. So yeah, anyways, I am dead tired. So my next check-in with y'all will probably be Saturday afternoon after embroidery bee and after I get the customer quilt done, because that would just be good. And then I might just take off the rest of the day from doing crafty things. Or like I said, I might start on next week's like heart part, like the next section for the hearts. Anyways, I'll see you in the next clip. Good morning again, Saturday, a little bit later. First clip I was a little delirious because it was like 1 something in the morning. So I'm getting ready to go to embroidery bee. I'm a tiny bit late. It's fine. It starts at 10. It's a little bit after, but I have my temperature sal, and yeah, I just need to pack some liquids, like some waters and stuff like that. So, and then I'm going to come home. I have a couple of chores that I like want and need to do, like some laundry, some cleaning up, just little tiny things like taking out recycling, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to finish the customer quilt. I'm so excited. It went together so fast, and there's a lot of leftover fabric. So just so you know, Swoon gives you way too much fabric, and yeah, anyways, fantastic pattern, very simple. And it's gonna look amazing. I'm so excited. Cannot wait to finish it. It's gonna look so good. I feel like I need to sneeze. Anyways, so whenever I get home, do a few things, I'm gonna finish the customer quilt, and then I might get started on week 4 of String of Hearts, because I'm really enjoying it, and I have a giant stack of fabric sitting all discombobulated next to my sewing machine, so I might as well go ahead and start cutting, at least cutting the next pieces that I need. But I mean, honestly, y'all know me, I'll probably just start sewing it. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. And I thought about it, and I know that it's supposed to be like scrappy spools, but depending on how much of this daggum fabric I have, my scrappy spools might also be made with this fabric, because I just don't know how to use up all the rest of it. And then even then, I would probably still have enough left to make a patchwork duffel bag or something. There's so much of it. Anyways, I'll check in soon. Happy Sunday, everyone. I have gotten a lot done. I don't have my cross stitch with me. It's already packed. And I'm also going to take one of my heart columns and embroider my name, the year, and the title of the quilt for the String of Hearts quilt along. But I finished the customer quilt, so I can drop that off tomorrow as I'm coming back home. And as far as the String of Hearts quilt goes, I got a little carried away, and last night I put the columns together, which they look stunning. And today, well, I've been waiting for a few things to finish so that way I can head out. I pieced the in-between sashing and sewed on the in-between sashing to 8 of the 10 columns. So I'm going to embroider that one today, like tonight. And it already has its sashing on it. So I'm gonna embroider that. And then probably tomorrow, whenever I get back, I can put these sections together. And then I'm gonna piece together the separator, the middle separator. And then what I'm thinking is my leftover yardage that I have, I think those are gonna be like the final borders, just because I'm actually dwindled down so much in my scraps. This is what I have left of my scraps. So I may or may not, I don't know. I've got to cut out the middle border because it's 4 or 4.5 inches, something like that. So I need to cut these down and get that put together for the in between, like the absolute middle where the hearts go opposite directions, top and bottom. And then depending on how much I have left of that stack will determine how much piecing I do of the final border, because I can't remember how wide the final border is. But all I know is these are ready to go. I'm not going to work on it anymore before I leave, because then, I mean, quite frankly, I'll just never leave. Also, I'm trying not to get a gajillion little tiny threads all over me, and I'm effectively failing as of now. So let me show you the customer's swoon quilt. I love how this came out, and I cannot wait to drop this off tomorrow. So it is the baby size of the swoon quilt, and I think it came out stunning. His colors are fabulous. It is red and green, but not Christmassy. It is more country. I think it came out fabulous. I love the background. It has a little bit of like a green hue. So it all just comes together really, really nicely. So I got all that done. So I am ahead on my string of hearts, but I'm thinking tomorrow I honestly just might try and knock out the string of hearts once I get home, because I just have to put those together. I have to piece together the center. The hardest part is going to be lining up all the hearts, but I'm just going to use my friction pin and mark where all the sashings are. Like I'm going to sew half of it on to the middle, and then I'll mark where all of the sashings are, and I'll line up the sashings of the other half is basically what I'm going to do. And then it's just cutting out and putting on the final sashing. And like I said, I may or may not piece that. It just depends. And then honestly, I will be caught up / done with all sals until the following week. So depending on what time that gets me to tomorrow, I may or may not start working on my book nook sal again. And then I also really want to do scrappy spools. I also have to prep my UFO block. So it's not like I don't have anything that I can do. I can get ahead on book nook. I can start scrappy spools, which there's 2 different blocks to make for scrappy spools for January, and you make 4 of each. So I may start working on the scrappy spools just to get that caught up, and then I will still have until the 6th of February to get my UFO. It's literally going to, I keep on saying UFO, and I know that I'm in charge of the UFO challenge, but what I'm making for the schoolhouse table, like round, I don't know, like my schoolhouse lesson or whatever, I'm making a UFO image. So, and that'll make more sense as I like do it and maybe explain stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow after finishing, I really think tomorrow I could finish the string of hearts or get almost finished, but this week it's going to happen. And I'm just basically, because I've gotten ahead, because I've enjoyed working on it so much, I'm taking the photos that I need for posting, and I'm just not going to post it on Instagram until the week that it's due. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'll probably do the same thing with Book Nook. Although that one is less strict. The spacing out for that one is just to help you like keep on top of it, and to get it done like in a decent, timely manner. I also tomorrow need to take better photos of my Halloween test quilt so that way I can post photos of it. But yeah, yesterday at Embroidery Bee, I did get both Stella and Potter's temperature sals complete, at least the paw prints. I still have to finish the window with the bird in it for Potter's and completely do the window with the bird in it for Stella's. So I'm not done with them. I'm just, all the paw prints are accounted for, and I need to, at some point, I'm then going to be able to start Daniel's for the averages. I already have them all calculated. I already know which colors I need for which days and all that. So I've just got to pull more of the fabric, and then I want to make the little temperature gauges so that way you know which color was for which like temperature range. So I still have stuff to do for that, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to finish it. I think I want to do maybe like a vertical wall hanging, so that way it takes up less space than if I did it horizontal or as like a 4-patch or something like that. So yeah, anyways, I will show you all that because I want to get more work. I'm taking that with me. I want to get more work done on that. So it just depends on how quickly I embroider this. And if you're at all curious as to what I'm going to name this quilt, I wanted it to be something like in the vein of being a hippie, because ever since I was 5, I used to get so mad at my mom that I couldn't be a teenager in the 70s. So I have always been a hippie at heart, and if anything the last couple of years have taught me, I'm definitely, if you look up the definition of a hippie, I'm definitely more towards that than anything else. So it's going to be titled Peace, Love, and Fuck the Establishment. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm going to embroider that on here in that all pink surrounded heart. And it's going to be in the center column on the top half of the quilt. So I don't know. I thought about making another heart and putting it on the back, but I just didn't want to do that. I was like, I made this special, like, you know, this one heart that all the fabrics were all the different pinks in the collection. That needs to be it. That needs to be the quilt label, and it needs to be dead center in that quilt. So, that's pretty much what it's going to be. Anyways, I will check in with y'all probably tomorrow evening after I've gotten a ton more stuff done. But yeah, I'll see you in the next clip. Hey everyone, it is Thursday. I took a few days off from sewing. I'm searching for something. Ooh, new episodes of Lone Star 911. Yes, please. I think that's what I'm gonna watch on my lunch break. So, I went out of town for like the night, and I took that column of my String of Hearts quilt and I did embroider it. I did embroider the title. I changed it up just a little bit because I didn't like fully how I wrote it. I wish I had better handwriting. Like, I can sometimes, but I also don't. So I ended up changing it just a little bit, and I erased as much as I could the pencil. And the only reason why I didn't use the friction pins on this one, like I did on the embroidery for the books, is that this is muslin, and if it were to come back for whatever reason, yeah, it's on muslin fabric. So it would be super stark and obvious. Whereas those, if it randomly comes back, it might actually make sense. So I did change it up just a little bit. I did a peace sign within the heart. I put a little bit of like a censored version of the word, and I just honestly, like, I just stitched over where I had it written, but I wrote things out like kind of the way that I would, like handwrite slash a mixture. I do like a combo of like scripted writing and non-scripted writing, and I intermix them. And so I did it on my iPad and I kind of just winged it. So that's what I did. And then I got home Monday and I just couldn't stop. I put the whole top together, which actually, no, I guess I did do it all on Monday. I got back at like a decent time. I got back around like 1:15 or something, and I had made a stop. So I stopped at the fabric store and I turned in the customer quilt, which she sent him a picture and he's absolutely like floored. Loves it. And so I dropped off the quilt at the quilt shop Monday morning. I got there like an hour after they opened. Like, I don't know, I got there around like 10:30, I think, and she had a meeting at 11, so I didn't really get to like hang out and stuff, which was fine because I wanted to get back. I wanted to get back, but some of the ladies came over to talk about this year's quilt walk. It's in October, and that's what their meeting was about. And one of them is the shop owner from just down the road. And they had like a grand reopening because they expanded their store and changed it up. They made a classroom and all this stuff down at Threaded Lines. So they had like a reopening on Saturday, and I didn't get to go to it, but I decided to pop in and I got a couple of things. I had $5 off from my point buildup, and they had the Halloween, I think it was called like Halloween Whimsy by Teresa Cuget. They had what they had left of it on clearance. And so they didn't have a whole lot of this pattern in particular left. So I wanted to go and snag some. And because at some point this year, I'm going to take the Halloween Whimsy panel and the charm packs, and I'm going to make a quilt top. I was going to use the panel as the backing, and then basically make like a patchwork with the charm pack, but I don't know yet anymore. I may still do that, but I wanted to get some of this for like borders and possibly also binding. It was just really super cute. So I got a yard of this for, I think it was $8 on sale. And then I got I got 5 4th yard cuts of some Tula Pink, because also this year I'm going to make my Stella quilt. I have a fat quarter of the special colorway Tabby Road Cats that came out almost 2 years ago now, in like a sewing box subscription thing. And I want to fussy cut the cats, and I've already like doodled it out. And I showed it here in a video. They show it before my hiatus last year. I don't know. No, it might have been after. I don't know. Anyways, Tracy for Christmas, but she gave it to me like in the summer, because she like went ahead and ordered it, because we didn't know how long it was going to take, and it came sooner than we thought. And anyways, I think I got it in like beginning of the summer from her. Anyways, she got me for my Christmas gift, the tulip. You can go to I Heart Tula or something like that. or I Heart Tula Pink. I don't know. Anyways, it's a website, and it's Tula's website, and you can order backings that are set certain sizes. You can order backings even from older collections, and Tabby Road is one of them, and it's one of the original colorways. And what you see for the backing is it's basically a blown up section of the print. So this one is the orange, like blue and pink colorway. Basically, I don't know what it was originally called because I didn't know about Tula Pink back then, or else I would have a ton of Tabby Road from the original collection and I wouldn't be having like to scavenge for things. But anyways, so yeah, she got me that, and I'm going to make that the back of the quilt, and it's like a throw size, but I think I'm going to add some border to it. I think I'm going to expand it, add a border for, you know, like quilting purposes and things like that. But I'm going to treat the back as the top of the quilt. And so anyways, I have, and I know that I've shown this, but I have some different prints that are like the blues, the pinks, and like the purples that go along with the limited edition colorway. So the front is basically going to be the cats fussy cutted in 8-point stars, and they're gonna have streams coming up behind them as like stardust. And the background is the mint stardust fabric. Also by Tula. So everything's going to be by Tula. So I grabbed a little bit of tiny stripes and tiny dots, which are like newer. So I grabbed this one because I can turn it this way or this way for the streams coming behind it. And I'll still have plenty. So I could do like a PC binding if I wanted to. And I have other prints. But anyway, so these are just a couple that I thought would look really good with like the idea of my quilt. This one I got, but I don't know if it'll blend too much into the background. So this one I may or may not use for that. And maybe because this will match the backing panel from the original colorway, this might actually not get used in the pieced side, and this might actually become my binding. And so I'll just have to like pick up another 1/4 of a yard to do the binding. But the pink, hot pink dots on like the cream, and then the purple with the blue stripes. And then I have been looking for this one. I have like some scraps of this, and I really want this one in it because these are the colors that I'm going for. And so, yeah, so I just picked up a couple of things, and I know that her neon collection is going to come out. So if the neon collection comes out, there's some really fun hot pink neons coming out that I think might be really fun to also include in it, and just get like a fat 1/4 or a 1/4 of a yard. Anyways, those were like $3 a cut. So I think my total was like $25 and I had $5 off. So I only spent $20. So not too bad. And I'll have tons of extra, and then they'll just become scraps. Which I might even steal a little bit of them to put in my scrappy spools, just because I think that might be really fun. So anyways, I finished this quilt top, and then I'm going to, also on Monday, I started working on my the personal library blocks. So I'm basically making the individual books for the book stacks, and I'm doing them by fabric. So I got all of the owl fabric completed. So this is all the owl fabric, and I'm currently working on, and this is where I stopped on Monday, and I haven't sewn since because Tuesday I was under the weather, and yesterday just felt very chaotic. So I just didn't work on anything. So I'm currently working on the swan fabric, and creating those books. So I've got to create all the books, and then once all the book sections are done, then it's putting together which fours are going to make up the blocks, and then I just put them together. So the only ones that I'm fully fledging out, like the books that I'm fully fledging out, are the smallest books, because there is one small book per block. And so I can go ahead and put on the ends. But the thing about the longer books is that one lines up like this, one lines up like this, and they alternate stack. So until I know what those 4 are and which order I want to put them in each block, I don't know which end of the book, the spine or the open part, to put the background for the flip-flopping. So anyways, I am working on the books today on my lunch break. And I am going to show you this quilt top, but I will do that in the next clip. Because I got to rearrange, like, adjust the stand and all that kind of stuff. So all that is pretty exciting. I got one so long completely finished, and now I'm working on this one. I am caught up this week on the Book Nook Sal. So honestly, 6 or 7 of the blocks are technically due like next week, of these blocks. So I think it'll be really good to get all of these done, match them up. And I mean, I'm probably not going to just do 7 and then wait and do the last 6. I'll probably just, chain piece them all. But anyways, it will put me in a better place to get them done next week. And then, yeah, I need to piece the backing together for the heart quilt. And I may or may not need a tiny bit more fabric of that, but I know that Kim has it in clearance. So that'll be really good to get it from her, rather than like the next time I'm down there, like this upcoming month, because I only need like half a yard of 2 different prints that she has. And so for like $8, I can finish my backing. And so, yeah, anyways, lots going on in my brain. And what else? Then for next month, let's see, because I already do know. After I get this done, I am going to work on my UFO block, the different pieces for that, because I need that ready and pieced out for February for my meeting. And then in February, I can fully finish it. Also in February, I want to, if I don't get started on the scrappy spools this month, which I don't think I will. So in February, I'll want to catch up January and February on scrappy spools. I want to go ahead and finish, and I may push this to March, just because, but, I have 4 more sets of these to finish for the Ruby Star block, swap to, get those mailed out. But then otherwise, I want to cut out for the deco quilt, because I've been dying to make that and use some of that cat fabric that I bought a whole bolt of. And then I also in February want to focus on finishing my block of the month quilt. So I have lots of things, but I feel like I'm slowing down in the things that I want to start. I did sign up for the next quilt along from Toad Circle. I just signed up to get the pattern just because I really like her patterns. And so I don't think I'm going to sew. I don't think I'm going to do it as the sew along. I want to see what the pattern is really, and have another pattern to like try at some point. So anyways, I'm going to get going. I will see you in the next clip. Happy Friday night, everyone. Yeah, it's Friday night. Oh, it actually is the night. It's 8 o'clock. So I am working on the Book Nook book sections, parts, the books. I have 3 of the sets done. So I have all of the owl books done, all of the swan books done, and all of the dark daisy print done in the large and the small size. And I am now working on the light pink flowers. So I have around 50% of them. Well, I have about 50% of them done. And then I can match them up in their groups of 4. So my goal with matching them up is to, one, in each block, every single book have a different pages, and also in every single block not repeat a fabric on a book. So that's kind of my goal. With the small books, I am going ahead and putting on the left and right piece. However, I'm not doing that with these because the piece either goes on the left or the right, depending on which book it is in the stack in the block. So I have to get them all done. I have to organize them into their groups of 4s. So all of them will have a small book and 3 large books. And then I can decide which order they go in, so that way I know which side to put the other background piece on. So I think next week 7 of these blocks are due, and then the next week 6 of them. And I say due, this one is a little bit different than the String of Hearts quilt along. Not every week is sponsored with like winners and giveaways and stuff. This week's is, but so many of us finished all of our blocks because we thought that it was more of like a guideline, not really a sew along where, you know, you have to post like that week's part to be entered. So I think a lot of people are honestly ahead. So I don't really know how that's all going to work. But yeah, I'm thinking that once I get all these done, I'm going to organize them. And I don't know if that'll be tonight, but my goal is to have all these parts done this weekend and at least have them separated and have some of the blocks put together. But yeah, I'm not going to just do 7 and then wait a whole week to do another 6. I'm just going to go ahead and knock all 13 out. And then I might honestly just put the quilt top together because, or I don't know, or I could wait, but then it just means like this sew along goes through like the middle of February. And I don't want to wait that long for sure. So, yeah. We're just making our way. I am tired, but so I don't know how long I'm gonna last, but I'm gonna attempt to at least watch a movie. It's 8 o'clock and I'm already I could literally go lay down and go to bed. I'm so thankful it's the weekend. This week has been interesting. But yeah, so a couple of things on my list to finish before the end of the month. Just because before the next video comes out, the end of the month will happen. So my goal is to at least get all the blocks for Book Nook done. If I can get the top done, that would be amazing. Like if I could get the full top done, that would be great. And then for the Book Nook quilt, I need to take apart the flannel. I need to cut it and then sew it back together to make it big enough for quilting. I like to just go ahead and get that done if I have the backing fabric. And then I need to piecemeal together the leftover yardage for the String of Hearts quilt and see if it's big enough and see if I do need any extras. I'm very much not sure. It said that you needed did it say 3 yards of backing? Ooh, what did it say? And I have like just over 3 yards, but the problem is that they're all remnants of like, it's like one fabric is like right over a yard, and then the rest are like 4 just over a half yard. So it's not like, normally you just like cut them in half and then sew them back up like the other way, and that works, but this is like piecemealing it, and so sometimes that actually makes it more difficult to get the size that you need. Oh, backing 3 3/8 yards. So yeah, I'm gonna at least need half a yard of something else. But I want to get it to at least a certain point, or see what I can do. Anyways, side note. But yeah, by the end of January, I want to have Book Nook in a really good place. I want to at least have all the blocks done. If I can have it further than that, that would be great. And if Book Nook gets finished, I'm going to make the flannel backing ready for this to be quilted, and then I'm going to work on the other ones back, just because, like, to clear some of that up, and so that way I can reshift, like, I can put stuff away from the bins, I can shift other projects into the bins from the bottom, and like put the empty ones on the bottom of the rack, and all that kind of stuff, and set it up for the upcoming projects. And then if by some way I can do all of that before the end of the month, the only other things that I want to do for sure before the end of the month is I want to cut the fabric for my deco quilt, and I want to cut background and spool pieces for the Scrappy Spools sew along. So that way, like, I want to cut all of the wood pieces, and I want to cut all the chunks of background, and it's going to be a ton of little tiny squares to make the spool ends. But I want to cut maybe not all of it, but as much as possible. So that way in February, I can do what was January's blocks, and I can do February's. I can get it caught up. And then next week, though, February 1st, I am going to focus on my UFO small, getting the pieces ready for our schoolhouse lesson night at my quilt guild, just so that way it is done, and I can get that going, because it's gonna be, I have to pull scraps for it. I have to find scraps that make sense. I have to cut down muslin as a foundation. I have to doodle the design. Yeah, I have stuff that I have to do to prep it. And then, yeah, I have stuff that I have to do to prep all that, and, figure out if I need to put a document together, maybe not to print, because it's too pricey, to do that, but that I can make as a PDF available, on our Facebook group, later. So, I have a deadline for that, though. Like, it's February 6th. So I only have the second half of next week and next weekend to get that done. So I have to prioritize that as soon as possible. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can with this sew along this weekend, so that way next week I can shift my focus to doing that and prepping that, and getting all that ready for my meeting. And then once that is done and the meeting is over, then I can actually finish that small, which would be really awesome. Which will also be interesting because, yeah, it'll also be very interesting. So I've got to figure that out. I might do it by hand just because I don't have a walking foot. So we will see. But yeah, so yeah, that's where I'm at. And then once that is done, I can focus on scrappy spools. I really want, and that I'm actually going to only do what's required of that one every month. So scrappy spools, I want to get January and February blocks done. And then, I want to get my block of the month done. That is definitely going to be my focus next month. And before I start the deco quilt, I want to have the deco quilt cut out, basically. And then I have other whips in here. And so I think my goal is going to be to focus on one of my already started projects every month and mix in new projects, because there's also stuff that I want to do, like trying out clothing, and there's other quilts that I want to do as well. So, so yeah, lots going on over here. But yes, let me set up the camera and I will show you my finished String of Hearts quilt. I love it. It's so bright. I've never done a scrappy back before. It wasn't as challenging as I thought it would be, but it also just like made everything take a little bit more time, but I think it came out really like good and really worth it. So I also need to take some good photos of that this weekend to post probably like Monday. So anyways, let me set up the camera and let me show you that quilt, and then we will call it a night. And whenever this goes up, it goes up, because sometimes it takes eons. So one sec, guys. Okay, so it is done. I love it. It's so bright and colorful and cheery. And some people are definitely going to have an issue with what I titled it. And, you know, c'est la vie sometimes. But this is my String of Hearts quilt. It's so bright and fun. So I'm going to have to just like roll it up and show you as it goes. So this is like where the exchange happens, and then it's all the small ones, and then they start getting big again on the bottom, and you can see, let me actually do it like this, there we go. It started losing space in my hand. But yeah, super scrappy. I definitely had more scraps of certain fabrics than others, and you can see that it shows, but I think it came out so good. I really, really, really like it. It's very unpredictable. And I will say, I ended up using all of the fabric. So outside of the rest of the yardage, there is some scraps left, but I've already pre-cut majority of it to 2.5 inch strips for binding. I'm going to make a very piecey binding, with all of the, if like the chunk was like at least this long or longer, I kept it, and I'm going to attempt to use it for piecey binding. So yeah, I needed all the scraps, which there was and you saw in this video, there was definitely times where I was like, I'm still going to have a ton of this fabric left. And I genuinely don't. I actually might need to go get another like half yard to yard from Kim's store. I'm going to pick totally different fabrics than what I have because she only has one. No, I think she has two of the fabrics that I have, but she has two that I don't have yardage for, if I need them for the back. So, yeah, I honestly, and I didn't even tap into any of the yardage for any of the big borders or anything. So this whole quilt top, aside from the muslin, which actually the muslin was also scraps from other quilts. So this is 100% a like zero cost quilt top. I paid for the pattern. That is it. Everything else I already had. And the only reason why I might need to buy half a yard to a yard more of fabric is if and only if I don't have enough to make the backing. So I need the backing to be the same size as the quilt plus 4 inches all the way around. So it is very possible that I will need to get some, like the most I would need is a yard. The least I would need is half a yard. So, yeah, I just have to lay it out and make the biggest piece of backing that I can. So that way, whenever this eventually gets quilted, it is ready. The other thing that I am going to do is, I am going to probably rearrange this. So let me know in the comments, would you like to see every finished quilt top? I know that I've talked about it, but would you like to see every finished quilt top? I can't remember if I've done it or not, or if I just talked about doing it. So if you would like to see that, please let me know, because there are some that I finished last year. And I think there's even a few that I finished the year before that. So if I've shown them, it's been a very long time. So I could do a quilt top parade if you would like. And I could even do a quilt whip parade. And at some point, I will actually do a cross stitch one. So, I needed to get through this month. And now in February, I just need to get that UFO mini like planned out. So that way I can have that ready for my thing. And then after that, if it takes me longer to like do some of the quilts, that's fine with me. I also in February really want to start cross stitching again and adding that into my schedule and not making every night that I decide to craft to be solely quilting. So, but yeah, I want to rearrange these, and I want to put the quilts that have backing available, like that I don't need to buy anything else for, to have them quilted. I want to move them up to the top so I can prioritize those, even if they aren't necessarily the ones that I want to prioritize right now, if that makes sense. And there's one that I kind of have a back, but I need to like piece it some. So, anyways, because I've had a couple of people offer to show me how to long arm, and some for free, some for a slight charge, some for a trade. And I'm going to start taking people up on it because I can't afford to do all of these. I can't. It's going to take me forever. And so if people are willing to help me or want to trade or, want to teach me, I'm going to take them up on that opportunity. So, to save up money to buy backing fabric for the ones that I don't have backing fabric for, and for the other fabrics to make clothes, to make the other quilts that I really want to make this year, that might help me also. So, anyways, that's really exciting. But that is where I'm going to leave it for tonight. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Love you.